Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are going to give everyone about a minute or so to get logged in and get settled, and then we will get our presentation started. Just as we wait for folks to get logged in, a couple housekeeping, and I'll go over this again. We are recording the webinar, and so in a few days, you will get that in your email. Um, You can ask questions during the duration of the webinar. Just be sure that you put those in the Q&A feature on your toolbar that you'll find either at the top or the bottom of your screen. Um, and so those are our two big highlights. And so we'll give everybody about 30 more seconds, and then we'll get the show on the road. All right. Welcome everyone to our webinar today in regards to our Master's in Data Science here at Ball State University. We're excited that you're interested in the program. We have a lot to share with you about our admissions process, the curriculum of the program, and the support that we provide you as a Ball State student in our data science program. Um, your speakers today, I'm Jeremy Johnson. I'm a student success specialist here at Ball State. And I'm currently, I work with the computer science program. And then in the interim, I am also working with the data science students as well.
Hello, and my name is Dr. Vinayak Tingsale. I'm the Graduate Program Director of the Master of Science in Computer Science, and I'm an Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Data Science at Ball State. Welcome, everyone.
You will also need to know Dr. Mooney Begum. She is the program chair for data science. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here for us with us today. So, Dr. Tongsali, thank you for taking the time to join us. And then also, there will be an additional student success specialist that works with our data science students. But until that person joins Ball State, you will be reaching out to myself if you have questions once you enroll in courses. And so that's my role, is to kind of help you with your academic journey while you're at Ball State. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about the partnership between Ball State and Coursera, have an overview of the curriculum, the courses that you're going to be taking in the data science program. We'll cover the in and outs of our performance-based admissions, or what we call it as PBA. You'll hear PBA a lot. We'll discuss what resources we have to offer at Ball State. Of course, the important things: how much does it cost? Our registration deadlines, and at the end, we will have a Q&A session. And remember, please place your questions in the Q&A box on your toolbar. So let's talk about Ball State and the Coursera partnership. Coursera is one of the world's largest online education platforms. When we were building this partnership, we really wanted to bring education to people all over the world. And that's what we've done. There are people from many countries that are in the data science program. And so it really creates a diverse audience to really learn from in classes, whether it's through conversations, whether it's through working together on assignments. You really get to build a diverse network of folks across the world. The partnership launched to increase our course section availability and expand flexible our course offerings. So our courses never close. So there's never a cap that there's only 25 people in the course. You can have a lot of folks in those classes, and we want to make sure that you can get the classes that you need so that you can matriculate through the program at a quick pace. The Ball State program is still being designed. There are some changes every now and then. And so there are plenty of classes offered that will get you to graduation whenever that graduation date is for you, because there's folks who like to go a little faster. There's folks who like to kind of take their time. And so the flexibility of our program in conjunction with Coursera makes it really top notch, because we kind of can meet you where you are in terms of meeting your goals. Oksale?
Thank you, Jeremy. Let me give you a brief overview of the Master's in Data Science program. It is a 33 credit hour program almost all of our courses are 3 credit hours, so that equates to 11 courses that you have to take. And those 11 total courses are broken down into 15 core classes and 18 elective credits. And those 15 core classes are specific classes that you have to take, that are listed on the website. And then with the elective classes, we have three areas: computational analytics, statistical computing and modeling, and applied research electives. And you have to take two courses in each one of those three areas for a total of 6 courses, adding up all to 11 courses for 33 credit hours. The courses and the degree is entirely online, and it is in asynchronous format. All lecture videos are recorded. All assignments, exams, quizzes, projects, labs are posted for you to complete. There are recommended deadlines within a course for each semester. However, you are completely flexible in terms of when you want to complete it. Obviously, you have uh, the end of the semester date by which you have to turn in everything, but you can turn in assignments up ahead, a little later. Again, as I said, there are recommended deadlines that we expect students to follow to make sure they are on track, but there you won't, for example, lose points for not turning in an assignment by a certain recommended due date. Obviously, everything has to be turned in by the time the semester ends. You can begin at 3 times during the year with our classes: fall, spring, and summer. Fall and spring are both 16-week semesters. Summer is about 10 weeks, actually, is 10 weeks. And you can think of essentially um, putting putting the work that is worth 16 weeks into 10 weeks. So it is definitely at an accelerator pace. There are no prerequisites to enter the program, in the sense that there is no prior data science background that is required. And the program is indeed designed to come to you. So it's designed for educational backgrounds and different career experiences. Folks looking for a career change, for a promotion, for entry level. We have tried to make it so that it appeals to a wide variety of learners. Next slide, please. Ball State offers what we call credit for prior learning. So you can, for example, take some Coursera certificates that Coursera offers independent of Ball State. And if you do complete them successfully with a B or better, and submit those certificates to us, to Ball State, then you can get credit for that prior learning. There is a limit, however, on how much you can get. So out of the 33 credit hour program, you can earn up to 9 credit hours via uh, prior learning credit. Now, these credits will not count towards what we call performance-based admissions, or PBA, that you see in this slide. Now, more about PBA a little later on in this presentation, and Jeremy will explain what PBA means in terms of admission into the program, and so on. Next slide, please. So here's an example of, or yeah, here are examples of which Coursera certificates, again, you can complete to get those prior learning credits. So you can see there's a few offered by Google, by IBM, by a couple of other universities. You can see Johns Hopkins and University of Michigan. So these are courses on, or certificates on Coursera that are independent of Ball State. And you can essentially, let's say you complete the GPU programming specialization from Johns Hopkins successfully. Ball State will award you 3 credit hours worth of DSCI 669 academic credit. Again, keep in mind there is that limit of 9 credit hours. And even within those 9 credit hours, you can only take up to 6 hours between 669 and 679. The question then begs, well, how do I get to 9? Because if you're putting this limit of 6 credit hours between 669 and 679, well, if you look down below, again, over here, we do have the Python for Everybody specialization from the University of Michigan. If you do complete that, we will get you 3 credit hours of CS 617 credit. So the way to get to 9 credit hours of prior learning is complete the University of Michigan Python for Everyone course. That's 3 credit hours, and then complete 2 more count towards a combination of 669 and 679 for a total of 9 credit hours. Next slide, please. What we also offer is what we call open content. Uh, think of this as test driving a car before you purchase it. You can try some of our courses. These are subsets of the actual course. So we have these full 16 or 10-week courses. What we have done is taken a subset, most likely the first 5 weeks or 5 modules, or about a third of the class, and open it up through open content. What that allows you to do is you can, number one, don't have to wait until fall, spring, and summer to start. You can start those courses anytime. And number two, which is equally important, is any work that you complete in those classes, be it a quiz, a programming project, a lab, whatever it might be, anything that you complete and you get a grade for, you don't have to redo any of that. Those grades, those scores get transferred over when you sign up for the full class. So that's what we mean when we say try before you decide. It is the exact same content that is offered in the full class. It is the same professor, the same quizzes, everything's the same. Think of it as just taking the full class, chopping it up, the first third, offering it up as open content. And as I said, you can start that anytime, and anything that you complete gets transferred over. So it literally is beneficial to you to see how some of these courses are. And we have 4 courses right now, and we will continue to add as things progress. But the introduction to programming, the introduction to data science, the statistical methods for data science, and the data visualization class. All 4 of those classes are currently offered in the open content format. Next slide, please. Again, I did talk about this. What are the benefits of open content? It's the same quality. It's literally the same professor that you will see in the full class. You can start at any time. You don't need to wait for the semesters to begin, any of those 3 semesters. And you can get a head start. All of the work that you complete does count towards the full class. Those numbers that you see are essentially the numbers, the CS617, the DSCI 601, 602, 605, and so on. Those are the course numbers for those 4 courses that were listed on the earlier slide. Next slide, please. Again, these are projections in terms of job growth and professional growth from Lightcast. The jobs that we are basically training students, helping students to gain, either to get a job, do a career change, or get promoted, are data analysts, financial analysts, software development, possibly social and behavioral data analytics. Again, data analytics is something that, and machine learning is something that is applied in a variety of industry, be it banking, finance, R&D, insurance, networks, again, e-commerce or whatever. So our courses are designed to help you get ready for these professional and career opportunities, as an example. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Dr. Tomsale.
Mhm.
So we are going to pivot to our performance-based admissions process, which again, that's PBA. So we understand at Ball State and Coursera that the traditional admissions process really doesn't meet the needs of today's learners. And so filling out a long application, submitting transcripts, test scores, that can take a lot of time and can cost a lot of money. And so we've taken that problem out of the situation. And so our performance-based admission process requires you to take 3 courses to gain admission to the program. And in those courses, you have to earn a 3.0 GPA. So your work in those courses is your application to gain admission to the program. Again, if you complete your 3 PBA courses with a 3.0 or higher GPA, that's a B average, then you're admitted to the program and you're set to go. Again, there's no application or transcripts. There's no waiting. Your PBA courses count towards credit. Those 33 hours that you need to gain your credential, they count towards that. So we're not wasting any time or money. And again, there's no previous experience required. In your PBA courses, you're going to learn the foundational knowledge that you need to be successful in the program. And so if you're kind of hesitant of maybe it's a career change, you're like, it's something I'm really interested, but I'm not sure. This is definitely the area for you because your faculty, we're really going to help you get to where you want to go, and we're going to help you get the knowledge you need to be a high quality graduate of Ball State. So how does PBA work? There is a short registration form, and you can find that on the Coursera or the Ball State website. Registration for the term for the summer term is currently open, and it closes on May 8th. Cost is $489 per credit plus a technology fee. If you take less than 6 credits, it's $100. If you take 7 or more credits, it's $150. Once you register, whether it's for 1, 2, or 3 classes, you complete those courses, hopefully with a B or higher. And then once you receive your grades, if you have that 3.0 GPA, you're admitted and you keep on enrolling in courses. The caveat is as you complete that registration form, you have to pay tuition at the time of enrollment. And so as you're going along, you will continue to pay your tuition as you enroll in classes. So talking about those pathway courses for the for the data science program, those 3 courses are DSCI 601, 605, and then CS 617. There could be some folks on here that are like really interested in the data science program, but I also have some interest in the computer science program. That's okay. We have that figured out for you. So the CS 617 Intro to Programming course and the DSCI 605 Data Visualization course count for both programs. And so, and it counts towards your PBA to get in. And so, if you're kind of on the fence, I would suggest to take both of them. Um, they are also offered in open content. So, if you're really on the fence and you don't want to kind of make that investment yet, go ahead and register for the open content so you can kind of get those first few weeks of content and look at it and complete those assignments and kind of see if one of those interests you a little more. And if you're still on the fence, you can still take the courses. And again, you're not losing time or money because both of those courses will count towards both degrees. So what Ball State offers, we have some really high student faculty engagement, not just in your courses. We have some of your faculty will offer office hours virtually. For the computer science program, Dr. Tongsali is offering an Ask Me session at night where you can ask any question you want to him, and data science does some similar things as well. There's a lot of interaction in classes in terms of feedback and things of that nature. You have me, not to toot my own horn, but I'm your student success specialist for the time being. And so my job is to help you bridge the gap from being an online learner to the resources that are available at Ball State, whether that is, hey, I'm struggling with time management, or I've gotten really behind, I'm not sure how to catch up. Those are the conversations we can have, plus to connect you to resources. Even though you're an online student, you're still a Ball State student. Even though you're taking courses in the Coursera platform, you're still a Ball State student. Your degree, once you graduate, will say Ball State University, Master's of Science in Data Science. And so no one will know if you were online or on campus. If you need the library, the Career Center, Writing Center, Learning Center, maybe you need some accommodations from the Disability Services Center, you have access to all of those. Ball State does a really good job of meeting adult learners and online learners where they are. And so whether that's through email, over the phone, meeting over Zoom or Google Meets, you can meet you can meet your faculty, you can meet your staff at Ball State to really gain access to those resources. We do have a Slack channel for student to student engagement. So on that Slack channel, a lot of it, the conversation is about, hey, can you tell me about this class? Because I'm thinking about taking it in the summer. Or, I'm struggling with this assignment. Can somebody give me some tips on what you did to get through that assignment? We also have an email channel that involves your primary instructor, your course facilitator, and myself for questions. And so a lot of the times things that are sent to that email account are questions about specific assignments. Maybe you're working on an assignment and the grader in the Coursera platform has says, hey, this is an issue and you can't figure it out. You can send that assignment and your work to this email account, and either your primary instructor or course facilitator would get back with you. Their goal is to get back with you within 24 hours during the week. On the weekend, it's a little slower because they're off, but the goal is to get back with you as soon as possible. And so that is to really help you be successful in your classes. We also have a program handbook and an online orientation that's mandatory once you enroll your first semester. Those are great resources, as the handbook provides all of the information that's pertinent to the data science program, and then online orientation just augments that information to really connect you to the resources, not just that Ball State provides, but also your experience utilizing the Coursera platform. You do have a safety net. And so, again, you have access to me, and that's just not on academic issues. As an example, I was working with a student who, um, they lost a lot during the hurricane that happened in Georgia last year, and so they were kind of MIA for a while. And my job is to reach out and to make sure things are going well. And so I'm kind of in your back pocket as a resource. Maybe you just need someone to talk to because life's gotten hard. Someone was sick and you've fallen behind. You're not really sure what courses to take. We can sit down and plot those out to make sure that you have a timeline and kind of an ideal goal date of when you want to graduate. Also, for fall and spring semesters, you have a 1 week from the start of classes to drop and receive a full refund. Because we know that it's a lot of money to get higher education, and so we want to make sure that you're enrolling in something that you think you can be successful in. And so we give you that week from the beginning of classes to get a full refund. For summer, it is a bit different because our summer classes, if you remember, are only 10 weeks long. And so you have to withdraw to get a full refund before the start of classes. Okay. And so, and that process is a little different because you're going from 16 weeks to 10 weeks. And so that is a different schedule. But you would receive communication from myself and Ball State about when those deadlines are coming. And so you're just not out there on an island by yourself. You have a web of support to really help make sure that you're successful. Costs. So the total program cost is less than $17,000, which is very cost efficient. Again, like we talked about earlier, 49 per credit, and that can change from from school year to school year. But right now it's 489 per credit with your technology fee. You might want to speak to your employers about potential educational assistance. A lot of employers have tuition reimbursement programs. And so if that's something that you think that you might need some assistance with, feel free to reach out to them to see if that's an option. Important dates to remember: summer term registration is open. Again, that summer term is 10 weeks long. Registration closes on May 18th, but do know that classes start on May 12th. And so there is that buffer drop add period of a week. Still on the fence and you're not sure, you can enroll in classes after the course starts if you meet the deadline of May 18th. Fall 2025 will open the week of May 20th. And remember that fall semester is 16 weeks long. Katie Davis is our wizard behind the curtain today. She will show up with us in a minute, but she is a great asset for you as someone who might be interested in the data science program. She is the person that you will talk with on the front end. So, kind of deciding if the program's right for you, that admission process, and kind of talking about the program in general. Once you're sure that you're going to enroll in classes and you have enrolled in classes, it's a soft handoff to me. And then during your time at Ball State, I'm your contact person or whoever your student success specialist will be once that data science position is filled. But Katie is your front end person. She's excellent. We talk quite often about students. And so you're really supported from start to finish if you decide that Ball State is for you. You can see her email account, ball-state-msds at coursera.org below her picture. And then if you want to book some time with Katie, her QR code is on the screen, or you can also use that link. And so I will hand it off to Katie.
Hi, thank you, Jeremy.
Right.
And yes, if you do have any questions about the program, I may have already spoken to some of you, but if not, you're always welcome to book a meeting with me using this code, or follow up with me over email. And I'm here to help, whether you're planning to start in the summer or the fall. We can stay in touch and make sure you have all the information that you need to make that decision. And I think, Jeremy, if we're are we at the point where we're ready to do some Q&A here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So thank you all we've had some questions be dropped in our Q&A chat already. If you have more, feel free to put them in there. We have a good amount of time to be able to get through some. But yeah, hopefully we're able to answer some of your questions about the program and the presentation. I'll start us off with one that I think is probably more for Dr. Tangsale here. The question is that the online program started in 2020 and then started on Coursera in 2023. And they're wondering if the materials have been updated and changed from the original program to this Coursera iteration.
Yeah, a majority of the materials and videos have been updated. Some of the examples and notes, again, those are perennial. I mean, things in data science or other classes that like theorems or whatever it may be, those probably have not been changed. But yes, the videos, the materials have been, a majority of them have been updated.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, this next one is around, which I think we answered a bit in the presentation, but just to reiterate, are there hard deadlines for assignments throughout the semester or just recommended timeframes?
Just recommended timeframes. The only hard deadline is the end of the semester when everything needs to be turned in. Uh, yeah, and that's true of majority of the classes. I know of only one class on the computer science side where there are a couple of peer-reviewed assignments that are due by a certain time, but that's, as I said, that's on the computer science side, and that's only one out of the 15 classes that we offer. So almost all of the classes have flexible deadlines.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
great.
for for sure. To follow up, a lot of the time when I'm working with students, we know that life happens. Life happens for me. Life happens for Dr. Gonzalez. Life happens for Katie. Whether it's work, whether it's personal, maybe you have a vacation planned. A lot of that comes down to communication. A lot of your faculty will work with you, and so just make sure that you're communicating that hey, especially for the summer, I can think of a student who they have to go to Europe for work for 2 weeks, and that's when that peer reviewed assignment is due. And so communicating early and often with your instructors is important, especially if it comes to your success. Um, Also, again, like we've mentioned, the deadlines in the courses are there to help you stay on pace to complete the course in 16 weeks. There is no point penalty for submitting something late unless you just don't submit it at all. And again, that will be a 0. And so if you do get behind, you can expect a call from myself or another student success specialist. We are very engaged with you. Just so you're aware, I can see kind of the percentage of the course you have done and kind of the grade you have in that percentage so far. I can see when you've submitted assignments, and like especially if it's been a couple weeks since you submitted assignment and expect a check-in call. You can answer that or not. You can send me a voicemail and I'll follow up with an email, and that's okay too. The interaction is really based on kind of what you want. And so I meet with students monthly. I meet with students once a semester just to verify, hey, how are things are going? And yeah, the classes that you want to take are going to count towards your degree. Good job. And so that's a 5 to 10 minute conversation, and that's it. And so that relationship with your student success specialist is important, especially if you do fall behind in courses. I've missed these deadlines just because sometimes we forget. And so I think the communication piece and time management are going to be important for you, especially with those assignments, because we don't want to get to the end of the semester and we still have half the course to do. And so that's kind of why your student success specialist is there to kind of help you, push you along a little bit and provide you that support if you need it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And these next questions kind of tie in. There's a couple on this subject just of overall timeline to complete the program. So what would be the maximum amount of time that someone could complete it? And are people allowed to take a certain number of breaks during the program? And on that same topic, kind of what's the average expected timeline to finish the degree?
For sure. I'll take that, Dr. Tonksani, and fill in if you
Mhm.
want. So you have, once you start, that your clock starts ticking. And so you have 6 years to complete the requirements of the program. And so, again, like we know that life happens. And so sometimes people need to take a semester off. That's great. Just when you come back, we need to make sure that, you still have ample time to finish your degree. I have students in the computer science program who are taking one class a semester. Um, I call them tots. They're taking their time or taking our time. And so, and that's okay because some people, we have a full-time job, maybe we have children, and they can just focus on one class because you should treat it like a part-time job. You should expect to do 6 to 9 hours of coursework per week for each course that you're in. And so as you add on classes, if you take 1, 2, 3 classes, add those hours up, and we're adding a part-time job. And so just make sure you're aware of that time commitment. Um, During your PBA process, I always suggest to not take all three in one semester. And the reason I say that is because in order to stay in good standing in the program, you have to have the 3.0. And so to get admitted to the program, you have to have a 3.0. If by chance you take all three courses in one semester and you don't have a 3.0, you have no options. And so what I suggest people to do is to take either one or two your first semester, see how we do. If online learning is new for you, we want to make sure that we can manage that load. Um, and the policy states if you're taking your last PBA course, you can take an additional course that last semester of your PBA because we want to make sure that you can still complete. If you decide to take that additional PBA course in your last semester, then you would be admitted based off of those 4 classes. So you would need a 3.0 GPA. If you don't want to take that extra class, then you would just take the 3. And so you could also work on um, your prior learning credit options through Coursera if you want to augment what you're learning so that you can keep pace. And so in the summer, you can take up to 15 credit hours. Do not recommend. I would stick with 1 course in the summer, maybe 2, if you feel like you can really handle it. And that's the same thing for the fall and spring. I have seen people take 3 or 4 classes in this fall and spring and they do okay. But again, for those folks, I'm thinking one in particular, they are transitioning from one role to another. So it's a career change for them. So they have the time. Most students take 2. They take 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring, and they'll take 1 in the summer, along with their industry credit, their prior learning credit, and they can graduate in 2 years. If you want to graduate earlier, that's absolutely possible. That would just take a lot of advising between you and your student success specialist to make sure that you are hitting classes where they are. And so starting in the fall, all of the core classes will be offered at least twice a year. And so that is helpful. And so I just really want to stress your relationship with your student success specialist is important because of that course sequence. There are some folks who I never speak with, and that's okay. And then we come into an advising issue because there's not a course offered because it's only offered in the spring and the summer, but they want to graduate in the fall. Unfortunately, we can't because you're gonna have to wait until the spring. And so again, it all comes back to communication with your instructors and also with your student success specialist. So we know your goals, we know your expectations of when you want to graduate, and we can reach out to you and says, hey, I see that you've registered for this course. We need to swap this and make it work so that you can meet your graduation deadline. Katie, did I hit all that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is
Okay.
great advice. And yeah, I think something to an advantage of this program that many master's programs don't have is a dedicated advisor that's here to help you throughout the program. So that is a definite unique benefit of Ball State. So if you choose this program, that is an advantage that you have throughout it to have that relationship. Okay, and this next question actually would be for Dr. Tangsali. Goes back to the industry content that's eligible for transfer. So some of them mention that the Coursera certificates, they only need to do 4 or 6 of the classes within the certificates. Are there specific ones that they need to take, or is it any 4 or 6 from within those certificates?
If it doesn't specify which ones to take specifically, then any of those are fine. If it specifically says take these 6 out of the 13 that are offered, then you have to take those 6 specific ones. So it's not a blanket answer for all. There are some. So I know I think it is the IBM AI engineering specialization. We want the students to take 6 specific courses, although 13 are offered to get that credit. But if it doesn't say, then I believe it's basically taking whatever is listed over there, and that should count.
Yeah, yeah. To follow up with that, I would I would always reach out just to verify, because there are students that they do it on their own, and that's quite all right. But then they submit the wrong certificate. So I would always reach out to your student success specialist if it's not clearly articulated on the website, because again, things change from semester to semester, and then because we don't control the prior learning credit certificates on Coursera, the who is offering those are, they can change. And sometimes we don't know they change until a student lets us know of like, hey, this changed from 6 courses to 13 courses. What do I do? That's a big change. And so the reference to 6 courses, that's the course that changed. It went from 6 classes to 13. And so I was like, Dr. Tongsalia, that's a lot. Wait, that's almost more than a master's level class. And so that's where that 6 came from. And so um, it's always evolving. And so it's always better to ask first, so that you don't have to do extra work that you wouldn't need to do. And what I would send it to, once you're enrolled in the program, that dedicated email account, we like to send all of those questions there. And once you enroll in classes, you will get access to that email account. It's a triage center. So, Dr. Tom Saleh, myself, Coursera representatives, they're all there, and it's a triage. And so if you have questions about Ball State or your program, those would come to me or your student success specialist. If you have a specific course issue or need help with an assignment, they send it to your course facilitator and your course instructors. If you're having maybe a Coursera technical issue or anything like that, they send it to their tech support. And so especially that's helpful, because say like as your student success specialist, I like to take breaks. I like vacations too. So if I'm away, we always have someone that is monitoring that system. And so instead of emailing you directly, if you email that support email, somebody will answer you quicker than if you send it directly to my personal email account.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is great advice. Thank you. Okay, and this goes back to similar topic, but around the open content. So from the open content courses, what percentage of them, or what percentage of the open content courses are accounted for in the full versions of the class? So if someone was to complete all of the open content that's available, how much progress would they have in the degree version?
Anywhere from 1/4 to 1/3 of the full class.
That's great.
And Dr. Trump Saleh, your goal is
Mhm.
to have all courses in open content eventually, correct?
As many as possible. Some of the advanced
Yeah,
ones do have prerequisites, but yes,
yeah.
we'll
Okay.
continue to increase the number of courses that are being offered. We are currently looking at 2 more right now to be launched in open content format over the next 2 months. Actually, 3 more to be launched over the next 2 months on the computer science side, and similar. I'm sure there's something similar on the data science side as well.
Mm. Yeah, I would bookmark the data science. So there's 2 web pages. There's the Coursera data science page and the Ball State the Ball State data science web page. There's similar information, but Coursera controls their website. We control ours, but those are updated regularly. And I would highly take advantage of open content, especially if you're going to take a course in the summer term, because remember you have 10 weeks. But generally with our Coursera classes, you also get an additional week or two advanced entry into the course before your actual start date. And so if you know that you're going to need more time, but you really want to take this course in the summer, if you can complete a fourth or a third of that class even before the summer term starts, then you're not trying to cram as much content into a 10-week term. And so if there is an open content version, I would highly suggest starting that before the term that you wanted to start, because it does give you more time to focus on the material.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great way to prepare before class starts and give yourself a bit of a head start on things. Okay, great. So just to reiterate, Jeremy, can you speak a bit more to the total cost of the program and what students should anticipate there?
For sure. So for cost, we have to remember it is higher education, and tuition rates could change from year to year. So that is usually set in the summer. And so for right now, the cost per credit is $489, plus your technology fee, depending on the number of credits that you enroll in. So we're looking about $1,400 to $1,500 a course. And so if you take advantage of your prior learning credit, your industry credit, those 9 hours, you're looking to save about $4,500 off of your $17,000 for the total cost. And so to get a master's degree under $17,000 total is really good. And so if you're budgeting, tuition's not going to skyrocket. But you could that 489 range. I don't think I think in tuition rose about $20 from last year to this year. So you're not looking at an exorbitant spike, but that fluctuation, just kind of what the market looks like and things like that. So I would budget around 14 to $1,500, maybe 1550 per class.
Perfect. And yeah, with that too, with the ability to determine each semester how many classes you want to take, you can also have some control over how you want to budget throughout the program
Mhm.
as well. So the pay per semester does give you a good amount of control over how you
Yeah.
manage that. Um,
For
okay.
sure. And to follow up, and this question might come, but I think it's a good segue. Once you are admitted to the program, you do have the option to apply for federal student aid if you're eligible for it. And so, even if you are eligible for federal student aid, you still have to pay tuition at the time of enrollment. If you by chance get a loan, that loan will be applied to your Ball State account, and any money that's left on your account, Ball State would send you a check for that. And so, just like in life, there are ever-changing policies and things. But right now, you pay per hour that you're enrolled in classes at the time of enrollment, um, and then if you have federal aid, it will kick in, and then they'll send it back to you.
Yes, great point. Thank you. Okay, we have a couple questions just around program eligibility based on previous education, work experience, location. Can we kind of reiterate on what people would need to be eligible to start the program?
Sure. Um, and interest, I think, is the only thing that you really need to start the program. Like we said, I have students that are coming from different fields in the workforce just because they want to make a career transition. There's no prior knowledge needed to start the program. Ball State is going to provide you with your foundational knowledge in those PBA courses to help set you up for success in those courses. And so again, you don't have to submit a transcript. You don't have to have a specific degree. There's no test scores that you need to submit. So this program is set up for anybody and everybody. Um, and so it's really, if you have an interest in it and it's something that you want to do and you think you have the time and you can afford it, I think it is definitely an investment in yourself because as you can see, the projections for growth in data science is a 20% increase is really, really good. I think data scientists are needed in almost every field. So I think by taking advantage of the program, you're setting yourself up for success. Dr. Toxali, you want to talk a little bit maybe about some of the courses?
Uh, I know actually, Jeremy, pretty much, yeah,
Okay,
covered it. Yeah,
yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah, and just if you're on the fence again, I want to reiterate, it's very flexible for your introductory classes. That CS 617 Intro to Programming and the DSCI 605 data visualization, those work both ways. And so if you're on the fence, you're not sure,
mhm.
um, your open content is a great resource to really see because we know it's time and money. We want your money, but we want you to have your money if it's not for you. And so really, we've given you these opportunities to test the content. So be sure to utilize open content and then have the conversation with myself or the student success specialist is at the time where you decide that you want to start to really figure out, is this for me? Is this something I can manage? Because again, I've worked with teachers, I've worked with folks who worked in sales, and they really want to get out of sales and focus on something that is growing. Um, I think I have several people who already have PhDs and they're pivoting out of those roles. And I've had somebody who has no bachelor's degree who has started the program. And so again, when we say it's for everybody, it's for anyone. And there's no location requirements. I would say if you are located internationally from the United States, that you check with your, either your education department, your education ministry, if there's any regulations in your country about online education through a different country. But there's nothing on our end. Like I said, we have students. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. England, France, Germany, Thailand, China, Japan, South Africa, Canada, Mexico, several South American countries, and so we are we definitely have a lot of international influence in our student population.
And I would just say that the intro classes really, especially the earlier classes, only require you to have a high school education in terms of
Mhm.
classic academic background. So, do I need to have taken advanced calculus or something? No, well, anything that is expected to be completed at the high school level is what we expect in our programs, and then everything else is covered in those classes. So, the classes are indeed again designed for someone with no prior background.
Perfect. Thank you. And Dr. Tingsali, this is maybe something for you to speak to a bit as well. Does Ball State require an internship for during the program, or do they assist at all with like job placement during
Mhm.
or after the program?
Okay. No internship is required for as part of the program. Ball State does have its career center. We do have the classic on-campus job fairs, but we do understand that for online students, this is something that you can't attend if it's on campus only. We have two on-campus job fairs, but what that allows the career center to do is that they have connections again with employers who come to these job fairs. So for the online programs, we are working on currently utilizing those connections and leveraging them to see how those opportunities can also be offered to our online students as well. So yes, Ball State does have a vibrant career center. They can also help you, again, even for online students, they can do mock interviews, help you with resume preparation. All those services are anyway offered. But as far as a classic job fair thing, we are working with the Career Center to have something similar, or at least opportunities made available to our online students that they can't take part in because, again, the job fairs that happen on campus are on campus twice a year. So, but there's definitely resources, and we are building out those resources as we speak.
Yeah, definitely. And to follow up with that, if you are located close to Muncie and Ball State, you can absolutely come to anything on campus because you are a Ball State student. And so just be mindful of that and all the resources. Even if you want to participate in graduation, even if you're far away, you can, if you can make it to Muncie and want to do stuff on campus, you can.
Yeah, I do get people ask about that a lot.
Yeah.
They can participate in graduation, so I think that's
Yes, they
always an
can.
exciting thing to
Yep,
know.
Yeah,
they
for
can.
sure. For sure. And to follow up on that one too, I just had a thought. Every student will have a student ID number. You, as an online student, you can request a student ID card. Um, just I'm a student now again, and so I created a Spotify account with my student account and got it for $5.99 a month because, and sometimes you just need verification of whether you're enrolled in courses, or sometimes they have student memberships maybe in places that are local to you, and it doesn't really matter where you are. So I would highly suggest going online and requesting your student ID because I'm all about a discount. I don't know about everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Utilize that student discount. Okay. And this is more, I guess, back to course curriculum a bit. Dr. Tanksali, can you speak a little bit about what is used to calculate GPA during coursework? Is it, just an exam? How do you calculate that?
Yeah, you bet. So we most courses have quizzes, assignments, and exams. Some may have projects and labs, programming labs. Some of them do. But again, whatever those different assessment techniques are, those are weighted generally. So it's not purely exam based. Your final exam is not 100% of your grade for sure. Uh, so the final exam may be worth 25, 30%. Again, I'm just speaking in generality. It depends on each class. But what I can say for sure that there are weights assigned to assignments, labs, projects, exams, quizzes, whatever they may be. They are assigned in accordance to the amount of effort that goes in. And you basically weigh the points you get based on those weights. You come up with a course average for a student, and most professors use a straight grading scale. Again, that's part of their academic freedom, so I really cannot speak for anything but myself, but I can generalize enough to say that generally 93% and above is an A, and anything between 90 and 92 and 0.9% is an A minus. The 80s are for the B ranges, the 70s are for the C ranges, and so on. But again, it's not, hey, take big one final exam and your grade is just dependent on that. That is definitely not the case in all of our courses. They are weighted and averages are computed, and in most cases, letter grades are assigned on on a straight grading scale, sometimes relative, and then each one of those grades mapped, it's on a 4.0 scale. So an A is a 4.0, an A minus is a 3.67, and then that's how the GPA is computed based on the credit hours and the grade that you get in the class.
Perfect. Okay. I think we have time for about one more here, and it looks like we're getting to the end of our question list as well. This is kind of a fun one to wrap up with. What has the success rate been like of the program? Have we had any graduates yet? What are our results looking like so far for the program?
Yeah, so I know for sure there have been graduates, and so there is still that transition phase from the on campus to the online, and so that has changed the curriculum a little bit. But yeah, students progress through the program at a fairly high rate. I don't know statistics for the data science program off the top of my head, but I know for the computer science program, 90% of students have at least a 3.5 GPA or higher, and that's pretty good. And so I can think of very few people who have failed a course because of content. I just really want to reiterate it comes down to communication because there's usually options. If you come to me or you student success specialist earlier, and I think as you could tell, I usually tell people like it is. If you come 2 weeks before the end of the semester and you're like, I'm going to fail this class, what are my options? I'm going to say your option is that you're going to fail that class. Because there are deadlines to get out of the class. There are deadlines to submit assignments and things like that. And so communicating early and often is important to your success. And so those who manage their time well, those who treat it like, and it sounds bad, but treat it like a second job, excuse me, because it does take that time and effort. Those folks who do that are very, very successful. I don't know of many folks where the content was just so overwhelming that they couldn't do it. I would say less than a handful. Folks who invest the time and energy, they are highly successful in both programs.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everybody so much for your questions and for sticking around. Jeremy, Dr. Tangsale, thank you so much for patiently and thoroughly answering them. Again, if you do have follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to me. We are about a month away from our summer semester starting on May 12th. So if you want to start this summer, let's definitely get in touch in the next couple weeks and we can help you out with getting set up. After May, they also have the fall start date in August as well. So those would be the two to have on your radar. But yes, please feel free to schedule a meeting with me or email me if there is anything you would like to discuss in more detail, and we are happy to help. But thank you all again so much for taking the time to join us this morning, this afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And hopefully we are able to welcome you to the program soon. So thanks again.
Thank you all.
Thank you.